Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division right here on Sports Gamer. My name is Tuki, joined as always by my broadcast partner, Mr. Sin, for the win. And today we round out the opening round, the quarterfinals of the ECL 22 winter season. Sin, it has been an incredible run, to say the least, here just through these playoffs alone. But we're not done yet. We got two series where two individual teams are holding on for dear
Yeah,
life at this stage.
they absolutely are. And one of those teams is our 2 seed in SAWO Esports, a situation that perhaps they didn't necessarily picture themselves in, something that we didn't know was going to happen either. But Granit Gaming have really been taking it to them. And that is going to be our first matchup here. If Granit can, hold on, get that last win, or if SAWO is going to be able to kind of claw their way back and start picking up some momentum after winning a few games here.
So again, in today's broadcast, we will follow these series for as long as they go. It is Granite Gaming against SAWO, IQ, and Feriestad, and we'll show you all what the bracket happens to look like at this stage. As Sid mentioned, SAWO as our 2 seed at the conclusion of our 30-game regular season. However, they trail 3-1 in this series, as does IQ, to Feriestad. Both of these series had seen a 3-0 series lead. It looked as though they were going to go the way, Sin, of the other series that we had, but not so much. The fourth game of each series, the team with the advantage couldn't quite seal the deal like H-Reds and Forlunda did yesterday.
Yeah, it was IQ defeating Feriestad in overtime to stay alive, and SAWO just kind of squeezing out that victory against Granite Gaming. It was a 1-0 shutout for Nikkei. So, dare I say, SAWO's troubles of being able to put the puck in the net still there. Yes, they shut out Granite. Yes, they got the win. That's what matters at the end of the day. But they have got to be a little bit concerned with their goal output, because Granite has been able to find more goals in this series so far and still done a great job defensively.
Absolutely. So again, a very interesting scenario here today where each of these series, there might only be one game left, or this could be a particularly long broadcast with potentially no in between. We have no idea how this is going to play out as we move into the semifinals beginning next week. So very intrigued, obviously, to see how this goes. Our first matchup here, though, is that battle of the 2 versus 7, SAWO versus Granite. And Sin, you get a look here at the numbers so far through the first 4 games of the series. It has been pretty close.
It absolutely has. I think every single game was decided by a single goal. And I mean, you can see there in the goal differential between the two, it's just that big, kind of glaring problem for SAWO is just not being able to put up the goals that they need to be able to win the games. And Granite's been doing a good job of getting those big goals when they've needed to. And you think back to the regular season when SAWO was one of the best offensive teams and the best defensive teams. Defense really hasn't been their issue in this series. I mean, I think the most goals that they allowed in a game was 2. So it's not necessarily the issue. It's just on the opposite end, Granite has been able to do what SAWO did all season and completely shut down their attack.
Absolutely. Let's get you guys a look at the lineups here for this particular matchup as well. It continues to be the same 6 that we have seen, I should say, through the series at this point. It is Ekin, Zovi, and Antonio Mannon up front for Granite, with Furion and Laymanens on defense. Roysto in goal for SAWO Esports. Yerska, Mozia, and Avatu up front with Tambu, Wenger on defense, and Nikkei between the pipes. And we'll start it off as we always do. That center comparison through the playoffs so far, Zovi and Mozia. And I mean, Sin, it's been a close battle, but Zovi with that face-off edge.
Yeah, he has the face-off edge, and he's had some of those big goals, but Mozia, getting on the board as well. He, I believe, had that game winner in that last one with that deflection goal just off the edge of the net that snuck in by Roysto, if I'm not mistaken. It was, pretty crazy between these two teams. I mean, that last game especially, like, Granite with the chance to close it out simply couldn't find the goal to tie it up. But yeah, I mean, this is a close battle, and I think we're going to see that throughout the rest of the individual matchups as well.
We look to the winger battle here next, and of course we have Ekin and Antonio Mannon, Yerska and Avatu, and And Sin, this series, not as if Ekin needed a breakout performance. We all know what the type of player he is, the caliber of player he is. Of course, not only in a sixes scenario, but the 1v1 game as well. But this has been a very impressive performance from him through the first 4 games of this series.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely been the catalyst for Granite Gaming. We were talking about Zovi a bit earlier, how he had a couple huge goals, a game tying goal and a game winning goal as well. Ekin is just doing a bit of everything. He had, he'll be the one to just throw a puck on net if he feels his team needs a shot and everyone crashes the net, or he'll, as we saw in the previous matchup, just drive the net himself and get a massive goal for his team. It just seems to be he's on another level right now from everyone else, and it kind of is showing through with that production.
Absolutely. Of course, the defensive battle here next as well. Again, very interesting one with Fioran and Lehman's two of the most experienced players, with Tombu and Wenger on the other side. It is Wenger, though, who leads this matchup in points so far, which is perhaps a little bit surprising.
Yeah, especially with how active Furion and Layman's have been, but Wenger has been quite active himself and, quite kind of, like Ekin in a lot of ways. He's trying to lead his team as best he can, getting in on the rush. He's playing obviously very good defensively, and I don't believe he's gone to the box. We've seen Tombu go to the box a few times, but Wenger has just sort of been back there, very good presence and racking up some assists, doing what he needs to do to try to give his team a chance to win. And I'd say, by their defensive numbers, he's definitely doing his part.
And in goal, the final head-to-head, Roysto and Nikkei. And of course, Sim, we looked at Nikkei's numbers through the regular season, closing in on a 90% save percentage. And yeah, obviously the thought is going to be that is unsustainable, but at the same time, he is still making saves and giving his team a chance to win. But as much as you talk about being unsustainable, look at the numbers for Roysto so far.
Yeah, Roysto has found another level here in the playoffs, and that's exactly what you want to happen. Again, not like Nikkei's playing bad by any means, still having very good stats, and as you said, making those big saves when they're there, but Roysto has just been a little bit better in that case, where we've seen him make flurries of saves and, kind of really sort of bail out Granite at times, the few times where they do, sort of let something sneak in from SAWO Esports. Roysto has just been on his game right now, and it's, these two goalies obviously pretty evenly matched in this matchup as well. They're playing about neck and neck, but you have to give that slight edge to Roysto.
So that, of course, the matchup that we have here. Sin, obviously, very intrigued as, unfortunately, the frozen webcam's there. But hey, I've always been told I have a big mouth, so there you go. It's just kind of the image version of that. It's such an interesting matchup because we talk about what's happened in the playoffs so far. And again, H-Reds and Goons. Frölunda over Havu, both sweeps. But if you look at the results of the games and how close the series happened to be,
Yeah.
Not at all how it looks. You look at a sweep and it's like, oh, okay, it must have been an easy series for those two teams. Not in the slightest. And now you have this situation again where the battle of 4 and 5, you expected that series to be close, yet it is a 3-1 lead. And then the 2v7, you certainly don't expect the 7 to be walking into what is now their second chance to end this series of a possible 4 after having a 3-0 lead. So we've said all season long, kind of expect the unexpected, and it's a very unpredictable season that we have here. And again, that's proving to be the case. And heading into this first matchup, again, where we might see the end of this Granit SAWO series, I personally have no idea what to expect.
No, and you mentioned it with those two sweeps that were sweeps that obviously didn't feel like sweeps. I think 3 of the games for Goons and H-Reds went to overtime. You saw Eki in chat yesterday even saying himself, like, when he was saying GG's to Javi, like, that was not a 4-game series with how close it was. And just sometimes that's the way it kind of goes. Like, when you look back on it, 4-0 doesn't look great. But, in the moment when you're watching these games, it feels insanely tight. That's the feeling of this one as well. Every game here decided by just 1 goal. Yes, Granite has that series lead, but it could just as easily go away. Now, you don't expect that to happen because I do feel like they've really kind of had that edge, but today's a new day. SAWO's had, some time to sort of recuperate, figure something out, try to look at some tape at what Granite's being able to do, try to find things that they can exploit, and it may have to do with, trying to exploit some of the active defense coming out from Furin and Laymanus. If they could find a way to sort of box them in when they do pinch, and sooner than a forward can get back, then SAWO might be able to get that counterattack going. But it's a tough situation because Granit has played near flawlessly so far in this series.
Absolutely. So again, we are just a few moments away from puck drop. You saw the teams there in the lobby. We might have a slight delay, hopefully not. But in terms of this matchup, again, like I said, today's coverage, we stick with this series or both of these series for as long as is necessary. We will know the semifinal matchups by the end of this broadcast. I think certainly too, if you are the team, Sin, that have the advantage, you are going to look to end this as soon as you possibly can. I mean, again, this is that type of situation where, you know, the longer this goes, the more it favors the team that does have to overcome this deficit.
Yeah, you got to feel that because they have the momentum at that point. You know, SAWO wins a game, all of a sudden they're only down by one. They win another one, then it's game 7. Kind of anything goes at that point, and you really sort of have Granit on the ropes in that situation. So SAWO's kind of got to play like a team with nearly nothing to lose, even though, yeah, they could lose the series, but they have to go all out because simply what they've been doing in their system, it hasn't worked yet against Granit. Granit's completely been able to stifle it and shut them down.
So again, the teams have matched up again. Apparently, we had a game crash a few moments ago when you had previously seen the teams in the lobby. Hey, you know, we won't. We don't have to comment specifically on some of the things in regards to the game. You know, it is what it is. But again, in terms of this matchup, it is must win for SAWO Esports. We have talked about it consistently throughout this matchup. They're looking to avoid the comparison. Granted, I don't think they're in danger of being relegated next season. But then again, it happened to somebody before. You never know. You have to prove that you can get it done in the playoffs, despite the fact that it being 2 versus 7, there are no easy matchups in the playoffs.
No, absolutely not. And I think we're really, really seeing that with how this series has played out. Obviously, the 7 has the advantage, but even when you think of the 1v8 with Goons and H-Reds, with every game going to overtime, a bounce could have changed the outlook of that series. It could somehow have been 2-2, 3-1 even for Goons, because in overtime, sudden death, I mean, again, anything can happen. You don't necessarily want to leave a game up to chance like that. You want to try to seize your opportunity and make the most happen with what you got here. So that's what SAWO's going to have to do. And Granit, same kind of thing. They have to have that killer mentality. Go into today thinking, doesn't matter. We still have to win one more game. We don't win this series until we win this last game.
So here we go. It is game number 5 in this best of 7 series. Again, as we mentioned, must win for SAWO to keep their season alive. Puck in on net, and the chance there for Yurska went to the wayside. Again, Granit in their road whites. A lot of pressure on them to close out this series as well after such a strong start. Let's see what they can do here. Good movement. Banger shot and paddled away by Roysto.
Welcome to
Back
the
down low
league.
for Yurska. Again, tried to go in front. Antonio Mannin all over that one. Going to lead things down the other way. Bit of space now for Ekin to the backhand. He scores. We talked about what a strong start he's had. There's another one. Opening goal for Granit less than 4 minutes in.
It seemingly just has to be Ekin. What a performance he's had in this series, and what a job he just did to put that one home. Great players always find a way to score, and kind of playing off something that one of our great members in there said in chat, Nikki Dangles, great teams always find a way to close out those games as well. So Granit looking to be a great team, a great player in Ekin just got them that opening goal. We'll see how they build off it.
Offside call here. We've seen trouble for SAWO, and so you know it's one of those things we love to take a look at the at the chat to see what people are saying. And to one Nikki Dangles of H-Reds, the best teams always close the games. I mean, already right now for Granit, you know, you are ahead. Let's see if they can maintain this lead. It's incredibly early on, but we have seen them show the ability to keep SAWO off the score sheet. Antonio Mannin with an opportunity. That one paddled away. He scores! Secondary opportunity. 2-0 Granite Gaming. What a start
This team is absolutely hungry. Look how quickly they broke up the play in the defensive end and sent their men on the rush. I believe that was Ekin with the beautiful stretch pass up to Antonio, sort of a rocket pass that got by the defender as Antonio had that step. The first chance, couldn't get it on net. He wraps around with the second and puts it home on Nikkei. Just like that, Granit have doubled up their lead, and SAWO, they got to be in pure desperation mode at this point. This is an elimination game. They have to go all out. I know it's just the first period, but this is not exactly what they want. This is a really, really bad situation for them.
An incredible start here for Granit Gaming. Goals from both Ekin and Antonio Mannon, one on each side of the post. SAWO, again, the 2 seed, down 3-1 in this series. A lot of pressure on them now. Penalty coming up here. Granit will have somebody take a seat. Didn't see what the call happens to be. It is checking from behind. Or outright boarding.
Boarding, yeah.
Yeah, on Furet. And that's a tough break.
Yeah.
I mean, by the rules, like, technically that is a boarding call, but
he didn't get a lot of power into that hit, yeah.
Right. To see him shove somebody down from that angle is surprising.
Absolutely is, but power play nonetheless for SAWO. This is the chance they need.
They can get right back into this. That one-timer blocked by Zovi in front. Bit of contact there to break up that puck, but it is still SAWO in possession. Wenger now. Again, not often you'll see a defenseman wearing the golden helmet as team leading scorer. Antonio Mannon breaks that one up and sends it back to the neutral zone. 45 seconds to play. On the man advantage here for SAWO. Batu back for Moja, tried to go across. Second chance now with the puck. It's Yerska for Tambu. Good movement here. Can they find a shooting lane? Moja back to the point. Blocked. Rebound was there. Handled by the defense. And now cleared by Ekin.
That will do it for the power play of SAWO. A couple chances, but once again, you're seeing just how good Granit's been, breaking up shooting lanes and passing lanes. That's just kind of been the case all series. SAWO really unable to get what they want going. On the offense, it doesn't matter. Like, power play or 5-on-5, Granit just seems to have their number.
And Sin mentioned, we're back to 5-on-5 here. Big opportunity to the wayside. Still a long way to go in this one. But Granit's not a team that's going to give you too many opportunities. Roysto handles that one on the wraparound.
You make a really good point there. They're not going to give you any opportunities, so SAWO is going to have to sort of make them happen. And it may not be the middle of the ice that's open, so they got to try to get those people moving laterally and take some outside shots. That was a tough save that Roysto had to fight off right there.
Still held in the attacking zone. Yerska has to dump that one around. Handled now by Vatu off of the turnover. His shot. Rebound. Scores! And just like that, SAWO's back in it. Yerska with the goal. It's 2-1.
Big response there from SAWO, and that's, again, something that they really needed to do. That's a tough angle shot. You just kind of throw that on net, creates the rebound, and Laminen's unable to block Yerska from getting to that point, who knocks in that rebound. SAWO has cut the deficit in half. One small step on the road to recovery here.
And we continue on. Now a 1-goal game. Let's see how this plays out the rest of the way. We still have 5 minutes to go here in this period for as close as some of these series have been. And a little bit high scoring already by comparison to some of the other games we've seen in this postseason. Second. Able to get that one over the line. Let's see what he can do. Wenger. Now Ekin one more time. Holds it around the back of the net. They've had trouble getting those opportunities, but when they've been able to get into the post before the defense, it has resulted in goals throughout this entire series. That pass is off the mark. Over here now for Fury, a minute and a half to go. Great pressure here from SAWO. The trip is called, and Sin, oftentimes we see that. Good pressure, frustrated you haven't gotten the puck yet. And there you go, that can happen.
Yeah, it'll be Moja headed to the box, so Vatu will be the man taking the draw right here. This is we've seen some momentum swings like this. The team will start to edge their way back, and then it could swing right back the other way. If Granit can capitalize on this, they're right back to square one.
Off the draw, face-off one here by SAWO, and cleared all the way back to the Granit zone. It is the Laminins picking that up, trying to get right back in on the attack. E to D work here. Furion for Ekin. That shot blocked down by Wenger. Poked loose. Tombu able to clear it all the way down.
It's a big clear right there. Granit was starting to get set up, and they've had a pretty good power play so far.
Trouble for Zovi. He loses it. We have a foot race to the puck with 3 seconds to go. Laminins will win it. And that will do it for a fast-paced first period. 2-1 the lead in favor of Granit game.
And if I recall, if I'm thinking correctly, I think the highest scoring game in this series was 3-2 or maybe a 2-1. Either way, I mean, it's already kind of on pace for a much higher scoring game than we've seen so far. Obviously, it could completely, sort of calm down, but I mean, what a kind of wide open first period, and maybe speaking a little bit to some of the pressure and the nerves that these teams are facing, both of them really, because Granite, it's tough to close out a series, especially against a team as good as SAWO, but they've done a good job so far. They've scored on the 2 registered shots that they have, obviously not sustainable, so they're going to look to generate a bit more offense and a few more chances here if they want to sustain this lead against SAWO, because they're fighting for their lives right now. As you see that second opportunity from Antonio from around the net that went in, that was a terrific start from Granite, but SAWO has scored that last goal, and they're definitely pushing for more, but they do have to kill off the remainder of this power play in the second.
And indeed, second period underway. 40 seconds left here in the Granite power play to try and reestablish that 2-goal lead. Ekin finds his way through the double team pressure. Goes back now to Furion. Laminins at the point. Just about back to 5-on-5 here. Antonio Mann in point blank. And Nikke is able to make the save.
That was a big chance right there. Quick feed to Antonio, who perhaps thought Nikke was going to overcorrect to that left side. Tried to go back for the short side, but Nikke stayed true and swallowed that one up.
Another chance there. Ekin on the doorstep. Couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. See what happens. Yerska's pass. Now puck down low. Wraparound bid. Roysto was there. Certainly didn't get all of that wraparound.
Yeah, and in the favor right now, something that we haven't seen too much of, it seemed like SAWO getting a good kind of favor with the bounces right now. We saw Furion sort of break that up, couldn't get to the loose puck, got beat to it. And there's been a few plays like that where SAWO is getting some of the benefit of some bounces where I don't think they were getting in the earlier stages of this series. So Granite's going to have to be careful if some of those continue to kind of go against them here. You're going to need some more insurance.
Oh, that pass in front from Avatu intercepted. Again, Moja able to keep it alive. It's those secondary chances for SAWO. They've been so dangerous. Ekin into the attacking zone. Now Laminins right back to him. Turning a man and banked one off of Nikke. Finds his way to a defender. Let's see what SAWO can do now down the other way. Puck knocked into the zone. Wenger chases it down around the back. Wrap around. Doesn't go. Good stop there by Roysta. Seeing a lot of spin moves out there.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Everyone's sort of spinning, trying to keep the puck away from people and perhaps get some better passing lanes as well.
Down low and now back to the point one more time for Wenger. Shot on from Yerska and another save by Roysta.
Kind of going back to the well right there. That was very similar to how they scored their first goal. It was a shot from around that angle with someone crashing the net. This time is Yerska taking the initial shot with, I believe it was Vatu crashing the net. They just didn't connect on it. Not a whole lot of rebound there from Roysto.
In the attacking zone here, still at least momentarily. Again, those poke checks trying to keep the possession alive. Here's a loose puck. Antonio Mann picks it up. Tried to drop back for Ekin. He does recover the puck on his own, though. Furion. His options, pinches down. Antonio Mann tried to turn, ran out of space.
Wasn't a bad attempt there from Antonio to drop that pass. He didn't have a whole lot of room to get towards the net. The shooting angle simply really wasn't there, so just kind of put a little bit too much on the pass and went right through Ekin. Unfortunately for them, that didn't turn back into a chance going the other way.
Here's Ekin. Tried to go back to Laminins. Miscommunication there. Already halfway through this second period. Errant pass there, going to go all the way down. Icing is the call. Face off in the attacking zone for SAWO.
Another good opportunity. Every one of these little things, every one of these little kind of mistakes or mishaps for Granit. SAWO's got to try to find some way to get some momentum out of it. This face-off's so important.
One-timer deflects wide. Good chance there for Wenger. Layman's again having trouble. SAWO doing a good job of balancing a defensive responsibility and offensive pressure. Loose puck picked off by Furion. Dangerous moment there. It is Wenger. Yurska, the odd angle shot. Big rebound. That chance picked up by Vatu. Threw one on. Roysto again was there to make the save. Rough pinch there from Wenger. Numbers here. Shot, rebound handled by Moja, who was able to cover. Lightning quick wrister there.
Yeah, both of these teams kind of looking to go for those rebound plays right there as we see another slap pass bank off of the neutral zone board. SAWO love that play, and they've kind of really perfected it. Even when Granite Game is looking up for it, they can still get it through.
A little trouble there for Antonio Manning as he tried to gain the blue line. It is SAWO back in possession. They've had more of the possession here in the second period. Still no goals, though, after 3 combined in the first period as Antonio picks that one off. That sauce pass off the boards. Good attempt. Will go down for icing, though.
That was a great attempt and an excellent read coming out from Antonio. He looked to be pressuring the puck carrier, but then just sort of instinct, seemingly knew he was going to try to go back down. He was able to intercept it. That was beautiful. Just couldn't get that saucer pass through, and they got to be careful here.
A shot just wide of the post. Yurska was on the doorstep. One-timer, big save by Roysto. If SAWO can get people in position for these rebounds. The one-timer deflection stopped. Great chance for Vatu. Roysto standing on his head here down the stretch as Zovi can't handle that one clean. 5 seconds here. There's the quick out. Deflects off of a Granite player. They'll be in possession at the end of the second. Again, three goals combined in the first period, and since somehow a goalless second period.
Yeah, a bit surprising with some of those chances that were coming out. We saw a lot of rebound opportunities. Both the teams started going for them. It seemed like some juicy rebounds were appearing. In that last one, before we saw the deflection chance, there was one that just sort of skittered wide with Yurska right on the doorstep. Had he been able to kind of corral that or take a whack at it, we would have seen a tie game. But here's the desperation coming out from SAWO. It hasn't got him the tie yet, but you can see in the time and attack in the shots, they want to score. They want this goal. They're working. They're trying to do everything they can to get it. Granted, right now, sort of just kind of surviving and holding on. They haven't been able to generate a lot. They're making some good defensive reads, trying to, get those stretch passes, but their stretch passes aren't connecting. The face-off battle is honestly being dominated by Moja, 11-3. One of those wins we credited to, Vatu on the power or the penalty kill. Either one. It's, this is right now. It's seeming like SAWO has a chance to get back into it. Again, we've seen great saves coming out from Oyster and good Granite defense, and this is going to be an interesting third period nonetheless.
Early offside call, as we have said before. This is the only period left that SAWO are guaranteed at this season. Sin, if they want any more than this, they got to earn it one more time. So off the face-off, it is Granite Gaming in control. Let's see what they can do. Again, they were up 2-0. An insurance goal would be absolutely huge at this stage. Furion trying to withstand the hits. Gets it right back. Antonio Manning, that short side chance. He's had quite a few chances in this game. Still just 1 goal to show for it. A big spin move there. I don't know why all of a sudden we're seeing a ton of spin moves, but here we are.
Yeah, I feel like these teams, at least Granite has always seemed to do it a bit more than everyone else, at least the full spins. But yeah, we're seeing a lot more as they try a cross-corner dump it. They missed the high glass there. And going back to that Antonio shot, I think Nikkei got a piece of it, but I also heard a ting. So I think it maybe caught a bit of the post as well. My ears could have deceived me, but either way, yeah, Antonio really finding himself in good location, trying to make an impact for his team after a slow start in this series.
That pass off the boards out of the reach of everybody involved in the play. What the SAWO team here is able to do now at this point, the answer, not much. Great job by Granite to lock down that blue line. Batu does gain the zone. A couple of options. Self pass off the boards. Now it's Yurska. Tried to go back to him. Wenger has it now. Captain Tombu. See what he can do. D2D one-timer just wide of the post. Good job by SAWO to keep it in. Moja for Tombu. The shot and a stop. No rebound from Roysto. Crucially, no rebound there.
Yes, he was slightly out of position. Had that been a harder shot and aimed more for that left-hand side, that could have gone in, but Roysto able to glove it. No rebound, as you said, and they get the face-off.
Off the draw, that shot from Yerska blocked away. Great pressure here from SAWO in desperate need of a goal. Trying to keep their season alive. Motion nowhere to go. Finally, a little bit of reprieve for the defense here. Antonio Manning really nowhere to go. It's going to be SAWO threatening to get right back in on the attack. Moja in the attacking zone now. Wenger for Tombu. Poked away and out. Great poke check there by Antonio Manning.
He's had a tremendous period defensively.
Tombu, though. It is SAWO right back in the attacking zone. That shot, rebound! Batu was there. Roysto got a piece of it. Wenger back to him. Odd angle shot. SAWO now willing to throw shots on from everywhere. They understand the situation they're in. Down low. Tried to bank it off the back of the goaltender. Furion was able to take that one away. Antonio Manning now for Ekin. Tried that short side. Got absolutely floored by the netminder. He's behind the play. Numbers here for SAWO, but a broken up puck. We'll have another face-off.
And this whistle is kind of sorely needed for Granit. They've been under the gun for a while here. SAWO just pouring everything on. We're going to see the timeout coming out. This will be, SAWO taking their timeout, so they want to refresh their energy bars here, try to keep that momentum going as well as, again, they are really running out of time here. Even though they're getting the better of the play, they still haven't found that goal. This save right here was monstrous. That's just a secondary opportunity that Roysto slid over just enough for and got a piece of it to keep it out. I don't think we've seen Granit register a shot in this period. Even that in-tight opportunity from Ekin didn't get counted as a shot because they went into this period, I believe, with 5 registered shots. So you can see just how much SAWO is doing everything they can to try to, tie this game up, pull something back in their favor. But if they want their season to continue, they have to get a goal. At the end of the day, the time on attacking the shots, they won't mean anything if they can't beat Roysto here, as we are seeing the double pause, the double timeout coming. Both these teams want this their energy bars refreshed down the stretch here. It's clutch time.
6:48 to go in SAWO's season if the score were to hold. Not able to hold on to that one. Great pressure there by Ekin, but he skips over the puck. Puck just outside of the zone. Fine margins here. Might decide this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw it earlier with that Antonio puck that just went out. That one even closer right there. And I think Granit at this point will take every little zone clear, every little whistle, because they're kind of in survival mode. Despite having a lead, SAWO's been threatening for pretty much this entire period.
5 minutes to play here in regulation of Game 5. Battle for it along the half wall. Laminen's just trying to run it out of the zone, and he does. Antonio Manning over for Ekin. Knocked off the puck. Vatu going to bring it down the other way. Good pass over to Tombu now. Tried to go back in front. Antonio was there. Bouncing puck. Moja has it. Antonio knocks him off of it. Turns it over. Breakaway for Moja. Scores! SAWO's not done yet. We're tied at 2.
What a poke in the neutral zone, and what a detrimental mistake there for Granit. People committed too quick to going up the ice. You simply can't do that at that stage in the game. It was turned from a great defensive play by Antonio to a costly error as he tried to pass it, and it was poked, and the 2 defensemen were nowhere to be found. Everyone's going up the ice. This game is tied, and SAWO have all the momentum.
Incredible turn of events there. One big mistake's all it takes. Vatu tried to go to Yerska. It's taken away. Pressure now on Granit. A 2-0 lead is evaporated. Antonio's spin move doesn't work. About 1 minute to go here in regulation. Is Tombu able to get out of trouble? See what they can do. Yerska. Shot on. Paddled away by Roysto. Patience there by Zobi, waiting for a bit of help. Ekins at least able to get it into the attacking zone, still fighting for it. Antonio as well as there. Tombu handled it well. Banger. Tried to hand it off to Tombu, bounced off of his skate, went all the way back. The tying goal late in this third period from Mozia on the breakaway. Gives SAWO a bit of life. Great poke check there. 15 seconds left in regulation. Goes back to the neutral zone. It's been all SAWO this period, and it's paid off. Puck dumped in. 5 seconds. Loose puck. Antonio has it. And overtime in game number 5. SAWO holding on for dear life here, Sid.
Yes, and in this game, it really feels like the opposite. SAWO has just been on point, and Granit, I've been unable to really get anything going. After those 2 quick goals in the first, they really haven't been able to establish much at all, especially in that third period. SAWO didn't let them do a thing. And that's the kind of SAWO that we're going to have to see for the rest of this series if it continues beyond this game, because that clearly works. They have to, figure out a way to limit Granit completely. This is the play right here. He has the pass. He tries to delay to get him a bit more space. The mistake is made by the 2 defensemen who rush up the ice, and Furion on that left-hand side, I think, was just way too far up. Antonio didn't have the speed. If that pass failed, then it would have turned into what it was, and you see Lehmanen's trying to recover as well, but that's just a case of SAWO's been in their end the entire time. Granit's just looking for some reprieve to get out, get some momentum going back their way. They all go for it, and just like that, one poke turns the tide, creates that breakaway, and it's a tie game here in overtime.
This is it. All or nothing for SAWO. Will there be game 6 in this series, or will Granite Gaming punch their ticket to the next round? Zovi, the shot blocked. They do have a power play coming up if they need it. Waiting to see there if Roysto joins the fun. Shot into the traffic and handled. Power play for Granite Gaming. The opportunity to finish this series right here and right now.
It's tough to call it a must-score situation, but if you're Granit, you feel like you must score right here. This is the first advantage that you've had in over a period. You have to be able to take advantage of it. It all starts with the face-off here. Zovi's got to come up clutch.
Off the draw, set play. Vatu read it. Sends it up to Yurska. Short-handed bid here, perhaps. That shot, Roysto the save. And this forced to cover. Great short-handed work there from SAWO.
I think you see that mentality. Oftentimes, you might see a goalie try to play that out right there, but he decides not to, trying to play it safe. They're going to have a defensive zone face-off now.
Off the draw, that shot. Another save by Roysto. Minute left here on this power play. That pass off the mark. The puck sent down again. Great to see what happens here. It is SAWO trying to hold on. Granit into the attacking zone. SAWO right back in control. Here we go. Mozia. See what he can do. One-timer blocked, and again, Roysto able to make that save.
Huge save and big missed opportunity for Granit on that power play. They really didn't get a whole heck of a lot going, and the momentum continues to favor SAWO, and it's just got to build after that big penalty kill as well.
And it will be kicking themselves if they fall short here and a 6th game comes up. They've had the opportunities to end this one, but haven't taken advantage. Here's Ekin trying to hold off the pressure from Wenger. Great individual effort, though. Runs into Yerska. Another pass over for Mozia. Knocked loose. Here goes Antonio. The off wing drops back. Furion. And Antonio now Ekin. Tried to go back to Antonio. 2 people there. one of those situations. You gotta, I mean, it's a forced play. If it works, but
Yeah.
at the same time, low percentage.
Yeah, I think too cute right now from Granite. They're trying a bit too much there, and it's just simply not working. They got to simplify their game right now because what they're trying to do, it's not there. They're being completely closed out around the slot, and we're seeing those spin plays. And at this stage in the game, when you haven't been getting a lot, those spin plays and stuff when they don't work out, or it's kind of seeming like some flair that you can't afford. So I'd like to see maybe a bit more shots on net, kind of crash in the net here for Granite.
Look at how SAWO was able to find that tying goal. Great pressure. Forced a mistake instead of the typical plays that a team might expect you to throw at them. Furion down low. Laymanen's tried to shovel that away. Throw a backhand on. You never know what might happen. That shot again doesn't find its way through. Nikkei hasn't seen a ton of shots recently. It's not out of the realm of possibility that a backhand from point-blank range finds its way through.
Yeah, especially if you kind of go for that 5-hole where we see, some of those EU goaltenders don't like to use that butterfly too often.
4.5 minutes to play here in the first overtime. Game number 5. Granite wins. They move on. And we'll take on Atrets in the second round. Of course, our defending champions. That puck, again, just not able to get a clean look at goal. Antonio had a chance there. Now it's Wenger stepping up so close to that real-time 2 minutes. A penalty here would be a disaster for either side. Again, trying to find Vatu on that short side. Both of these teams know that the opposition likes to go for those chances. I mean, it's going to be that much easier to defend.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and we're seeing that. We saw it a lot from Granite earlier in the series when SAWO was trying to get those plays to the middle. It was the collapse of Granite, which we talked about how much it mirrored how good SAWO was at that throughout the course of the season, and Granite was doing the same thing and preventing SAWO from getting to their areas. SAWO made the adjustment that they needed to, at least in this game, and kind of just started forcing more on net, forcing new opportunities, and, well, they've been rewarded with a tied game, and not a whole lot from Granite since those 2 opening goals.
There's Laymanens. Pounded by 2 people, can't get rid of the puck. 1:20 to go. Battle forward along the half wall. Zovi not able to hold on to it. It's Yerska now for SAWO. He's bumped off the puck. Still battling Laymanens for it. Mo's just passed back to the point and disrupted, I should say. As soon we hit the final minute of OT1. Again, this is the first game of, 6 we could call today?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, especially if there are multiple overtime. Waiting to see what happens here again. SAWO needs to score to keep their season alive. Granite needs to score to avoid blowing a 2-0 lead and letting SAWO right back into the series.
Once again, a bit of a rougher turnover right there. That could have been costly as multiple people were skating up the ice, including the defenseman here. We're seeing a little bit of kind of panic, I think, from Granite coming out right here. They haven't been having their way a whole lot in this one. We're seeing a lot of people committing up the ice before really they're in a comfortable position to do so.
There's Laymanens. Granite trying to get something going. Pass over. Zovi shot block. Second chance. Throws the rebound just wide of the post. 3 seconds. One-timer off of Ekin in front. He's injured heading into the second overtime, but it will be a second overtime. And a little bit more from that, a little bit more of that from Granite in that second overtime is just what the doctor ordered.
Absolutely. I mean, those were literally their best chances in 2 periods when they just started kind of throwing pucks at the net. Zovi with that first initial shot. The rebound from Ekin could have finished it off, but he kind of scooped it just wide. You saw the shot attempt from the point, and I mean, you're being thoroughly handled right there in time on attack in shots. Your way of playing your system is one thing. I like it. First shot gets blocked. Try the next one. Look who is there. It somehow goes wide. It's just shoveled wide. Didn't hit a stick or anything. Just shoveled wide by Ekin right there. So if I was them, put that one behind you. Okay, that one didn't go in, but if we do something similar, that next one has a good chance of going in right there. So hopefully Granite kind of takes that in stride and realizes, all right, more pucks on net from, maybe some angle shots. Remember back to that SAWO first goal. Odd angle shot, pops out front. Yurska puts it home.
Second overtime underway. We're in game number 5. Puck dumped in. See what SAWO can do. In this particular attempt, again, any opportunity could be the one to end this game. Antonio not able to handle that one. Let's see again what Wenger can do. Dishes off to Tambu. Great quick passing here from SAWO. Lofts one in front. No teammate to be found. Here's Moja. Tried to hit Yurska, I think, there. Maybe on a deflection bid. And SAWO, that willingness to throw different looks on net. Granted, they haven't won with it, but you kind of back them a little bit more for one of these opportunities to find a way through. Pass there along the half wall, finds its way over to Zovi. Antonio now Ekin, good drop pass. Battle for the loose puck. Zovi, Ekin, again, just out of his reach. Looking good for Granit when they get into these high danger opportunities, but they've been few and far between.
They absolutely have, and SAWO's doing such a good job of getting their bodies, all over the place. I mean, when Granite's trying to break it out, they're bumping them. They're just in the way. They're always there. When they break that into the zone, there's always, 2, 3 people collapsing near the puck carrier, and that's just preventing Granite from getting their opportunities. They love to do a lot of these kind of in-tight passes, and unfortunately, it can work, and when it works, it's great. You can create some space, but with SAWO's kind of collapse around the puck carrier, it's sort of working a bit to their detriment there, as SAWO already sort of has guys in position to break that secondary one up. They're able to get the bumps and everything like that. See 2 people going for close support. This time the pass works.
Antonio Manning down low in the corner. Goes to Laminins at the point. All the way down low here for Zovi. Wanted that short side. Again, SAWO all over these short side attempts. Absolutely all over them. They got burned on them twice earlier in the game. They're adapting. The way I'm reading it, hey, call me wrong, but Granite's not adapting. They're still going for the same things, and SAWO's not really giving up these chances.
Simply not, and I think you're absolutely right here. And again, I think Granite's best chances in the third period and in overtime were when they, shot some pucks at the net, just tried to get something going.
Like, I remember one chance here now for Granite, and it was that shot that was shoveled wide. We have played an overtime and a half. One chance stands out. I recall more than a few chances from SAWO because they're willing to do different things. One-timer saved by Roysto. Dangerous one there. Be another attacking zone draw here for SAWO.
Absolutely was, and they keep building on that momentum, and the fewer and fewer chances Granite has, I think the more they kind of feel like they have to go for those higher danger chances, which just feeds that SAWO game. They defend, then they counterattack, and then they, pounce on you and create some chances of their own right now. And here's another one.
Here we go, Yurska. Great poke check there by Furion to take it away. Still in a dangerous area, though. Here for SAWO. Great patience. Wenger's shot into the traffic and handled by Zovi. A 67% sin on the poll that was in chat in favor of Granite winning this here in overtime. I don't blame them. I mean, choosing the team that's won 3 out of 4 games so far, but SAWO's definitely looking more dangerous offensively.
They absolutely are, and cool, calm, and collected with the puck. You can see the way they're all kind of moving up as one and waiting, for that initial pass before breaking out of their support location.
Nowhere for Ekin to go. Puck right back into the Granite Gaming zone.
Pretty incredible how good SAWO's been at the blue line here. Nothing that they want, Granite wants to do is working. I mean, that's a pass into traffic right there. There's just nothing there. They tried stopping the blue line with drop passes at the blue line. That hasn't worked. I don't know if we've seen them break out the dump and chase too much, and we've seen them try to, force their way through. And as of right now, Granite, looks like they're trying to find some other looks, at least on the break-in, and SAWO simply isn't giving it to them.
Here is Antonio Manning. Bumped off the puck there by Yurska. Granite have to do something here because right now it's almost a waiting game, and there it is! SAWO take game 5 in overtime They're not done yet.
I mean, it's well-deserved. That's really what you can say after SAWO do that. That's an absolutely well-deserved win. They completely dominated Granit Gaming down the stretch. There's really no other way to kind of sugarcoat that. That was pure and utter domination. Granit wasn't able to do a thing, and if you're SAWO, you got to be feeling great about that. You just forced a Game 6, and you have all the momentum in the world. Besides those first two shots Granit put on net went in. After that, absolutely nothing. The best chances when they just started kind of pulling the trigger, but again, didn't do that enough in overtime. SAWO was willing to do that. SAWO was willing to adjust, willing to adapt, willing to let the game kind of come to them and, force it when they needed to. And those were two big kind of, transition plays that they were able to capitalize on, and Game 6 up next. If you're Granit, that's rough. And I would be a little bit worried because it didn't look too good.
It's one of those things, Sin, where it's like, hey, look, there's a fine line between, where we would be as players and our experiences with this game and where Granit are. There's a reason why they are here. You had 7 shots through almost 5 full periods of play, because we almost made it to the end of double overtime.
Yeah.
Boy, I wonder why you lost. I wonder why you gave up 3 straight goals. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I try to be obviously as nice and professional about it as possible. I don't know. I don't understand their strategy. It's one of those things where I'd love to hear, like, what is the idea of still going for the same plays in case they work? Whereas SAWO was throwing different stuff on net, and if it wasn't for Roysto, that game would have been over much sooner. Roysto was the only reason that went to double overtime.
Yeah, hard to argue with that point. I think Roysto was absolutely fantastic in this one. And, sometimes it can be tough to sort of adjust on the fly right there, as we saw with Granit, especially when you're unable to break that puck in. I think the mentality got to them as, man, we're barely getting, barely able to get this puck, into the zone. We kind of maybe need to look for those chances, or maybe that's their comfort zone, or I don't know, stubbornness, because it was working all the rest of the series. But that play right there that we're getting a glimpse at was really, I think, the turning point when Antonio was trying to break that pass out and that goal happened off the transition. I really feel like that was when SAWO completely took control. I mean, 3 unanswered goals. They tripled their shots. They only had about 3 minutes extra of time on attack. So in this case, I mean, the willingness to fire pucks on net, go for those rebounds as well. Yeah, they only got 1 goal off the rebound, but I count 4 other pretty good chances in tight that came off of those rebound opportunities. So yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with the point of Granit being unwilling to sort of get out of their comfort zone. That's a trap that we saw Havu fall into in seasons past, where they're completely unwilling to get out of their comfort zone because it had worked for so long. I think in this case, Granit might have to just do that here and figure that out. But again, credit where credit's due. SAWO didn't give him a whole lot of opportunities to do so.
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But like I said, while we might not be pro players here, we can call it as we see it sometimes. And that was not a winning formula from Granit whatsoever. It almost felt like, well, hey, we might get lucky with the force play. Let's hope Aristo can hold on. A goaltender can only hold on for so long when he's getting so many different looks thrown at him by the opposition. So Game 6 will be coming up. Again, Granit now up 3-2. SAWO winning 2 elimination games in a row. We'll see if they can force Game 7. Game 6 coming up in just a few moments. Let's throw it to a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Loistava vapauttava syöttö ja sen jälkeen ollaan karkumatkalla. Minkälaisia ratkaisuja tulee? Tämän kaverin nimittäin on ollut todella kylmä viileä näissä paikoissa. Kilven räpylän puolelle kummalle tulee liikkuvat taakse kiekkomaali! Ja Wilhelm jälleen kerran nakkikioskille. Smokey Bites ja Snacks ovat tuoneet hienosti lisää leveyttä Wilhelm joukkueeseen.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back again. A big thank you for sticking with us. A big thank you to our sponsors at Wilhelm, Kouvolan Lakritsi, and ST Hockey for bringing the action to you here today and all season long. Sin, Game 6 coming up. Again, we said we will follow this series for as long as it may last. And indeed, SAWO again, they were down 3-0. That series is now 3-2. We have seen in the past, even in a championship round, you can come back from 3-0 and still lose in Game 7. Granted, I don't know what to make of it. Again, we are trying to be as nice as possible. There are no personal criticisms or critiques here, but you need to do something different, right? I mean, you were up 2-0 in that game. What happened? You didn't score after the first period. Yet SAWO scored 3 times. Probably time for a bit of an adjustment, wouldn't you say?
Could definitely, I mean, yeah, I would say after you lose a game, I'd say there's, usually room for adjustment with the way that a game goes, especially when you blow a 3-goal lead like that. And at this point, SAWO's won the last 2 games of this series, as you pointed out. So despite, being 1 loss away from elimination, they got to be feeling the momentum on their side. They got to be feeling that what they're doing is working. They're going to keep going back to that. And what's been working for them is a whole lot of everything. Good forechecking presence, great blue line presence, good job in the neutral zone creating those transitions. They're forcing Granit into these desperate situations where, as I mentioned in the pregame, can they exploit how active they like Furion and Laymanins can be? Absolutely. Look at the 2 kind of transition plays that led to chances. One of them led to a goal. It was the poke off Antonio. Laymanins was, further back than Furion, but Furion was already past the blue line when that poke kind of happened, so he was completely out of position. Laymanins couldn't catch up. It led to a goal. That's what SAWO does. Their counterattack is so good, and they're forcing Granit into these situations where they're making those kind of mistakes, and it's, turning into goals for SAWO. So I think if SAWO keeps on that path here, but yeah, we need to see something a bit different from Granit here. After those first 2 goals, I'm not going to say they, just packed it in, but they weren't ready for the response of SAWO.
Game number 6, SAWO in their road whites on this one. We will see if Granit can close out this series, or if again SAWO can win another one to force game number 7. Again, a little bit later on, we will have the end of Färjestad and IQ as well, as we await to see who will join H-Reds and Frölunda HC in the semifinal.
That was another opportunity, one of those odd angle shots, looking for a rebound as Antonio tried to sauce it through traffic to Ekin, but SAWO has found kind of a new play that they can add to their arsenal, and they pulled it out again. That rebound kicked out to the right location, but it was unfortunately just up in the air.
That puck down below the goal line here. Antonio running into the left winger there in Ekin. Zovi able to hand it off to him. Another spin, and again rifled into the slot. You can do it. You never know when someone will shoot the puck through a skate. It's an interesting thing to try to rely on, but you can go for it. As Zovi again tries to go to Ekin. Nobody home. Let's see what SAWO are able to do. Again, there's been a little bit more creativity offensively from them as of late. As Moja in front again. A little bit too much traffic there. See what Furion can do over the line now. Antonio Mannon again tries the spin. I'm shocked. Saying who to think that maybe the SAWO defense would read a spin or 2 after the amount that we've seen. Just today alone.
They're seeing it crazy, as what they've done all regular season. Good job clogging up the slot, especially down low. A bit of a struggle for them in the first games of the series, but SAWO's figured it out as they try to get into the middle again and snuffed out and broken up.
The old adage of, hey, throw a puck on net if there's too much traffic, and the people in the traffic might be able to get to that rebound. But, hey, what do we know? We continue on here. We continue on. 8:34 to go here in the first period. And we will see exactly who was able to strike first here. Over the line, puck dumped in. Into the attacking zone. Wenger able to take that one away rather easily. See what SAWO can do now in the attacking zone. Yerska for Wenger. Nowhere to go. Good defense there from Antonio Mannon to knock that one loose. Dish back to the point. Don't think we've seen a single one-timer here today, but we have seen them have success with it before. Maybe just waiting to break it out. Antonio tries to go to Lehman's, had Yurska right in front of him. And it is Granit still in possession.
I think Granit, we're seeing them fall into the trap that SAWO fell into earlier on in this series, where they were the ones trying to force plays and just completely being snuffed out. Once again, tries to go to the middle, but he did have Ek in there, but not a lot of space.
There was Ek, and he tried to drive to the net, ran out of room. 2 minutes to play here in the first period. Still looking for our first goal of this game. Again, there were 3 goals in the first period of game number 5. Svenga's shot, good block there by Antonio Mannin. Mozia up for Tombu and gets it right back. What a set of passes there. Save, still loose, and it's swept in. Yurska, ever the opportunist, finds the opening goal for SAWO. It's 1-0.
And looks like a interesting replay skip, so does it count as an own goal? I'm not too sure. It's Roysto unable to get the cover on it, and I thought Yurska was the one to hit it in, but tough to kind of say, and they get the opening goal. Granit.
Save there on an Antonio Mannin shot. I think Yurska got the last touch on it for SAWO, and then it was tapped in.
Okay.
It's the only thing that really makes sense based off of knowing that replays are only skippable when the setting is on if it's an own goal, which is incredibly weird. A 1-0 lead send for SAWO, and again, what is a must-win game?
Yeah, and that's a good start if you're in a must-win game. And again, we talk about momentum and how important that is. Granted, 4 minutes time on attack, but just the 1 registered shot, and that was their downfall in the last one. They seem to just not be, ready to break out, or they're a little bit frozen. I don't know. It's hard to get into the heads of these players out there. It's hard to imagine the kind of pressure that they're under, the kind of situations that they're in. We're going to get a good look at this right here. I mean, yeah, this is just unfortunate for goaltenders. That should be cover. That should be a dead puck. And unfortunately for him, doesn't count as such. It gets somehow swept in. Yeah, what happens, happens. But as we said, and as we said throughout these playoffs, you don't want to let your fate come down to a bounce or an unfortunate play, because unfortunately in this game, those kind of things can and will happen. So Granit got to try to take their destiny back into their own hands here, but SAWO may not let them. They're just really have all the momentum here and are willing to throw that puck on.
Good save there by Roysto. This time is able to cover it. And on that occasion, I mean, you could argue, those are chances that every team go for. I think there might have been a little bit more space there to get that shot from that on angle, because SAWO's been willing to throw different looks on net. I think it's working out and generating space. There's a one-timer as well. Second chance banked off the back of the net. We'll have a face-off. Again in the attacking zone.
Nice look, despite it going wide right there. The way it bounced off the boards, reminiscent of the old Joe Louis right there. Vatu almost able to get a stick on that and kind of bat that home before Roysto could cover that short side. So once again, SAWO throwing plenty of different looks at the net. The saucer pass doesn't connect. That'll go for icing, and that kind of going to show where Granit's at right now. A little bit stunned by the pushback of SAWO, and another mistake will lead to a face-off in their end.
Face off here on the tie-up. Antonio Mannin able to come up with it. Drop back for Laminance. Captain weaves his way through. Well done. Loses it on the cutback. Can't hold it in either. Vatu for Yurska. Stuck on the backhand. Loses it in the double team. See now what Ekin can do. He's been a little bit quiet since the goal to kick off game number 4. Excuse me, game number 5, of course. This being game 6. At double overtime. Got me a little bit off guard, at least, as Yurska is able to find Vatu. Sauces it across, just ran out of runway. What an opportunity there for Mozia. Shot on attempt is denied. Antonio nowhere to go. That was a great job there to maintain puck possession. Vatu as well into the back skate. Drops down for Yurska. Tried that quick wraparound. Absolutely decked by Laminance. We have 11 minutes to go here in the second period. And pressure there from Ekin, not able to win it. A lot of space for Yurska on that right-hand side. Nearly got the move off. Puck ends up on goal, and again, Roysto is able to cover it.
And when momentum's going your way, it's seeming like the puck's starting to go your way as well. Even though that between the legs deke didn't quite work, it still kind of went on net, and with two men crashing the net as well. Kind of never know what's going to happen here. SAWO able to take the middle of the ice on those break-ins where it seems like Granit more taking the edges.
Here's Atkin, tries to throw it across. The defender was right in the path. He's able to break up the follow-up shooting attempts. Batu again just throws one into the slot. These two teams both all over those opportunities. You're going to need a bit more creativity than that in a playoff scenario. That shot wide, held in by Laminance. Again, just throws it into the slot. Down the other way. Thrown into the slot. And covered by Roysto.
Big cover right there is kind of just trying to stop a little bit of this pushback that's happening from SAWO. It's kind of, the game's kind of opening up a bit, and I think Granit's going to want to play a slightly more controlled style at this stage. But we'll see what happens here. They're going to control this puck in their end, look for those breakouts. We can see just the presence of SAWO. Not only are they forechecking, they're able to get back, line up on the blue line there. They break a pass up in the neutral zone as well. Ends up going out of play, but since that first bit of a time and attack that Granit had, only registering that one shot, we've seen a lot more back and forth action. It's kind of coming down to Granit, at least sort of a bit of a failure right now to see some of the opportunities that's been presented, as they're learning here in the playoffs. There can really be few and far between. A few good games, then all of a sudden it can turn on its head and you find yourself in a difficult situation.
Under 4.5 minutes to play here in the second period. Still a 1-0 lead in favor of SAWO. Granit have not scored since the first period of Game 5. Of course, last game ending in double overtime as well. So, combination of fantastic defense. And at the same time, I'm not sure what's happened to them offensively. Batu, the movement there. Yurska, again, just throws it into the middle. Nobody home. Furion pinching in the spin and loses it. Sending SAWO right back down the other way. Tombu. Again, just tries to go into the middle. Really from both teams at this stage, just a failure to adapt. And it's surprising based off of the quality of these two teams. Fortunately for SAWO, less pressure to have to adapt. They will have a 1-0 lead heading into the third period. 1 second left, not enough time on the clock. So, Sin for SAWO down 0-3 in this series, and all of a sudden they're 20 minutes away from forcing Game 7.
Impressive, to say the least. This is kind of the SAWO team that we've seen a whole heck of a lot of here. It's a tight playoff series as well, with both teams, kind of have an idea of how they should play and keep, going back to it as well. I think SAWO's been at their best when, as you mentioned, when they're trying some different things, throwing some different looks on this. The middle of the ice isn't going to be open. These two teams extraordinarily good at collapsing. But also, as you said, SAWO doesn't necessarily have to be the one to break the mold. That's still only one registered shot on net for Granit Gaming after 2 periods. So after that initial 4 minutes time on attack with the one shot, they've had an additional 2 minutes where they haven't been able to register one. It's a bit have to do credit to SAWO for being able to, stand in the way of things, but also, Granit, continuing to kind of try to go back to the well. Unfortunately, that well has dried up here. A big part of playoff hockey, especially here in the Elite Division. How do you adjust? How do you kind of handle the different swings of momentum? How do you handle the teams throwing different looks at you? SAWO quite obviously did their homework over this break. They watched, some film. They made adjustments here. They're shutting down what Granit wants to do. Now it's on Granit to be able to be the team that responds here, because now they're down and in danger of going to a backs against the wall situation when at one point they had a 3-0 series lead.
Antonio Manning over the line. Still holding on to this one. Dishes back to the point. Furion for Laminance. Throws one on. Good deflection bid there for Antonio Manning. Close call. More of that from Granit, please. Great job on the back check there by Zovi. And already there's a sense of a little bit more momentum in their favor to start this period. Laminance In front, they score! There it is! Antonio Manning finds the breakthrough. Saying it's amazing what a couple of different looks can do to open up some space down low.
That was a great job there. We've seen that so often from Furion as he kind of moves down the half wall to create some space, sending it back down low to Ekin, who this time goes back to Antonio there, and there was just slightly more space available there for SAWO, and I think that, goes to show Granit's plays definitely can work, but at first you're going to have to try to pull SAWO out of position with a lot of that puck and body movement. That's a good way of using the perimeter to open up the inside, and it might not be done. Ekin goes in tight with a off the skates. Zombie with the follow-up chance, but Nikkei stands tall.
Two phenomenal chances there, and all of a sudden, Granit looked like they had their offensive mojo back. That's what we're talking about. Here we go, on the draw. This game's still very much up for grabs, especially now with that tied score. Great read there by Antonio. And he scored the tying goal. Here's Ekin. Risky pinch there for Furion. Had to get rid of it quick. Unfortunately, nobody home. There's Vacic. Takes the hit. Can't make the play. Great read by Furion again. He gets the puck back. Dumps into that far side corner. Two Granite members giving chase. Antonio Manning had it. Loose puck! And Zobi, I think, unfortunately, accidentally knocked it away from Ekin, who had a great shooting lane. This one back to the point. Layman's for Antonio. The shot. Good save there. Big rebound as well. Furion looking to step in. Ekin, wrap around. Antonio Zobi still there. Scramble, they score! Antonio Manning's second of the period. As out of nowhere, Granit have found their offensive mojo once more and send the pressures all on SAWO now.
Patience is key. I think a little bit more patience from Granit is paying off as they work around the perimeter, pull SAWO out of position, then feed back to the middle. That's seeming to work out. That one kind of a lot more bounces, but the point was, they were able to work it to the middle with a bit more control and possession, and all of a sudden SAWO on the ropes once again. What a turn of events here for Granit.
Exactly what they needed to do. They started changing it up a little bit. SAWO couldn't adjust nearly fast enough to the different looks that were being thrown at them, and now suddenly SAWO less than 10 minutes to be able to try and tie this one up and potentially force Game 7.
Yeah, and now SAWO, from really being in an advantageous position, have suddenly found themselves in a position where they've been in a few too many times in this series, down by one goal in a low-scoring game, and now it's all about them trying to, adjust and be able to score in Granit.
That one back to the neutral zone every second that ticks off of the clock. A massive problem here for SAWO. They've won 2 in a row. They knew they'd need to win 4 in a row to see the second round. Antonio Manning, one more goal. What would that do for Granite Gaming? Here's Zovi. Rocket pass in the slot, nowhere to go. I don't think Granite Gaming can afford to take their foot off the gas.
No, absolutely.
We saw them try to hold on in the last game, and ultimately it didn't work. A tough break there for Wenger. He regathers 5.5 minutes. Puck dumped in to Roysto's right. Yurska there. Good pressure. Moja had it. Poked away. Space now for Ekin. Here we go. Let's see what he can do. Holds up. Back down low for Antonio Manning. He has both Granite goals. Still battling with Ekin. Great work here by the Granite forwards. Big hit. Penalty called. And a power play coming up for Granite Gaming. On the boarding, it will be Wenger who takes that penalty there. And Sin, what a chance this is for Granite to seal the game.
Absolutely massive, and this is really good adjustment that they've made, is working that perimeter a bit more, being a bit more patient before they feed the slot, trying to pull out SAWO. They know they have the advantage now. They do exactly that, and he takes a penalty because of it. SAWO, unfortunately, I was going to say they have to attack, and I mean, they just got a huge break as Laymanens tries the poke right there. I think what he was trying to do was poke that puck, but he got a really unfortunate and slow animation, which led to the trip there. Maybe in hindsight, you attempt to play the body, but we have seen him take a charging call in that scenario, so tough break either way, but SAWO is given a second breath of life here, 4-on-4, instead of having to kill a penalty.
Now, I do wonder as well, is the clock, like, what is the differential between the clock when it's 4-on-4 versus a team having a power play? And whether or not that would technically benefit Granit just by the clock winding down. Furion's one-timer deflected wide. We still have Ekin getting back to his feet.
Yeah, he's dead tired, has no stamina.
He's lacking it. Pass in front, picked off by Antonio Mann, great look there. And Ekin, again, you can see, just exhausted at this point, ends up at an offside call, in less than 2 minutes to go.
And I don't think we've seen a timeout used. I would think right there, okay, yeah. Well, that's not even them. That's SAWO calling their timeout. Not too sure. Yeah, we might see the double timeout again because as we were seeing, Ekin is dead tired. That self sauce would have been a great self sauce had he had some stamina. I mean, look at that play right there. That was so many different chances for Granit Gaming, and really because they were, they worked the perimeter and then tried to get it back in front of the net. We saw that in-tight play right there. Good body position from Antonio, who put himself between on the proper side of the defenseman, so that play couldn't be broken up easily.
I'm running out here for SAWO. They will have a very abbreviated power play here in the next few seconds. By that, I mean about 10 seconds worth, but Batu with the puck. Now Tierska back to the point. Tomba, one-timer, big blocker save there. Nearly overcommitting was Roysto. 55 seconds to go. SAWO know they need a goal to keep their season alive. Puck finds its way to Ekin. He dumps it into that far side corner. Will Granit Gaming secure their spot in the semifinals? They'd be taking on defending champs in H-Reds if they do. Puck down low. Kick back to Tombu. Wenger's shot in front. Furion able to handle that one. Ekin still fighting for the puck and sends it down. 25 seconds to go.
Really smart plays by Ekin, just trying to get that puck in deep. That's the second dump. That's been a really good decision.
And a penalty called. SAWO to the power play. And indeed, there you go. I was going to say, I'd hope we'd see Nikkei pull himself there and send himself to the bench, and he does. Antonio Mann to the box. 6-on-4.
18
Here,
seconds.
In the dying moments of the game. 17 seconds to work with. Face-off won by Granit. Ekin sends it back to the neutral zone. The pass for Moja. Wenger to Tombu. Yerska, glove save by Roysto with 5.6 to go.
Roysto has done this time and time again for his team. He's had some massive saves, none bigger than that. It wasn't the one time that I think they're looking for, but he still had to make that save.
One more face-off. This is one. Tombu, Yerska, puck bouncing around. 1 second, the shot to wide. Granit Gaming, as the 7 seed, move on, knocking off SAWO Esports in 6.
And kind of staving off a bit of disaster right there as SAWO won 2 straight, and we're threatening at times in this one to bring it to a Game 7, but Granit found the extra gear that they needed, found the adjustments needed to kind of get some more of those chances, open up some of those slot opportunities, which they are so good at and so practiced at, as we saw evidenced by this entire series, especially towards the end there when they had that couple in-tight opportunities that went in. Those quick in-tight passes can really be detrimental if they're there and they're able to find a way to get back to that strategy that they know and love. And unfortunately for SAWO, going to take a bit more work. A tough beginning of the series ends up spelling their doom, and they will be eliminated here in round 1. But crazy spin at the end right there. Unfortunately, they fell just a little bit short, and their terrific regular season goes by the wayside.
We said it before, Sin, it's one of those things where a great regular season is hardly remembered unless you can follow it up in the postseason. This is a really tough break for this SAWO team. Look at that glove save at the end there by Roysto.
It's just beautiful. And honestly, even if he got the slap shot off, Roysto played that incredibly well. And I'm actually not sure if he did get the one time off. That might have been blocked, so it might have been the correct decision to kind of get that wrister off. It's hard to say without being in the heads or with the controllers in your hand as their team. But either way, they they fought till the last, and they threw everything possible at the end there. They just simply couldn't beat Roysto, who it's tough. If we had to kind of look for an MVP, it's tough to choose between, Ekin or Roysto, but I mean, I think they both had as large an impact as you could argue, especially Roysto at times. I mean, in that game 5, I would say he was hands down their best player. He was, allowing those 3 goals off 21 shots is really, really good with the amount of pressure that he was facing.
Looking at the end of that game, I mean, for Granit, the winning goal is one of those goals where you throw it in front and hope for the best, and you saw it. It bounced around like a pinball. Relying on those opportunities, I think, is part of the reason why Granit got themselves into a little bit of trouble, particularly, again, in Game 5. But we saw that a willingness to adapt, and it paid off for them. They are a club that has more experience in terms of the individuals with the Elite Division playoffs, and I think that ultimately was what it was. And I'm a bit surprised for SAWO, again, under double digits in shots in that series deciding game, as opposed to what we saw in the overtime for Game 5, where they ended up with, what, a 3-to-1 shot ratio? Just about, at
Yeah.
least, after that game. So very interesting to see how that one played out. I think, again, it was a constant chess match of who would change things up and could the other team adapt. And at the end of it, Granite was able to get this series done in
Yeah.
6 games. And again, now they move on to take on H-Reds.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough matchup here. As a bit earlier, I was holding on to this. I think it was King of Apes in chat who threw out the goons greater than Granite. So he's. I guess they would prefer to play Granite. Hard to say. At least King of Apes being the kind of vocal guy that he is. I don't know. I don't know what to kind of make of that, but it's an interesting sort of narrative going into this next series. Now that we know for sure that that's going to be the matchup.
Indeed. With that, again, that is our 3rd series in the books. One more series yet to be decided. We'll throw it to a very brief intermission as Sin fades away into the void. Fariestad and IQ FBK with a 3-to-1 series lead, and I'll try to bring Sin back from the brink of extinction. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.